Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Hales and I make videos about the books that I'm reading. So today I am doing something that I don't typically do and bringing you a wrap up for the month of August. I don't typically make these because I'm not super into watching them, so I don't want to sit and do them, and then I don't want to make content that I don't also enjoy watching. But this month I read 4 books that I am super excited to talk about. So I thought that for once I would do a wrap up and talk about these books and just gush, because I have been so obsessed. Like, it has been unreal the way I've blown through these books. And that is the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. Oh boy. So I started Flawless in July. I think I started it like July 24th or something, the 24th or the 26th. I just looked at my Goodreads at the start date because I wanted to make sure that I did finish it in August. And I did. I finished it on the 4th. And so I read Flawless and I was thinking, like, this sounds really good and people have been raving about it. And I'm not typically into like the westerns and cowboy romance. I am into these cowboy romances, like, without a doubt. I have been switched. I am team cowboy romance now. I need more. I need more. So all 4 books, Flawless, Heartless, Powerless, and Reckless, I gave 5 stars and adored them. Flawless, I feel like I went into that the most open-minded because it was a trope that I liked and I didn't feel like I was going to be just trudging through it. So I really enjoyed Flawless. I loved Summer and Rhett. I love Summer's character in general, and I like that she was the first like female main character that we got, and got to watch her story unfold and then get to see her in the next couple of books. And then going into Heartless, I was kind of like not really sure what I was going to think because I'm not into the nanny trope too much. It's not my favorite. I haven't read too many of them, didn't want to read too many of them, and I think I think Heartless has kind of swayed me on that as well. So Heartless I did give 5 stars as well, and I actually really loved it. It didn't feel like some of the other nanny romances that I have read. It felt very much like Willa just coming in and was immediately part of the family. And I think it helped that she was Summer's best friend and already had the connections to other characters. So it wasn't just like randomly showing up, random new character that comes into everything and then has to work her way into the family. I like that she was like almost immediately, she and Luke were just like that, you know? That was really nice. And I think it really helped me personally to like more of what Willa and Cade had. And I really like the whole like grumpy sunshine, but I especially liked his brand of grumpy, where he wasn't just grumpy, he was protective, and he wanted to protect his family and he wanted to protect Luke, as opposed to just being grumpy like Fox, is his name Fox, from Hook, Line, and Sinker. Like, he was kind of grumpy to be grumpy, or like some of his past issues and trying to not like lead Hannah on or whatever. But Cade was just like, he's got a kid, he has to protect his kid, and I really liked that. That aspect was really nice. It worked for me. Loved it. Powerless, for whatever reason, took me the longest to read, and I don't know if it was because there was more of a focus on the hockey or because there was more of a focus on just Sloane and Jasper, and there was less of Wishing Well Ranch, as opposed to that kind of being more central to the story and all of the other characters coming in and out. I read that one the slowest, which is weird because I do love a hockey romance, but I loved Sloane so much. I thought her character was just incredible, and I loved that, like, all of the books, all 4 of them, their struggles feel very real. They feel grounded in reality, and that was really refreshing for, like, I'd been reading like fantasy or mafia romances lately, so the more like down to earth kind of stuff, I was kind of eating it up, not gonna lie. So yeah, for whatever reason, that's the one that I don't have the most thoughts on, though. I think because I really enjoyed it, and I didn't have like, oh, I have to make this comment and I have to like, it didn't, I wasn't too critically reading it because I didn't feel like there was much to critique about it, if that makes any sense. It might not. It could just be in my head that it makes sense. Yeah. And I actually just finished Reckless this morning, and I was bawling my eyes out in the bathtub trying to finish the book, and just, I mean, like, sobbing. I was a mess. It was so good. It was so good. I was really happy with how that one ended up. It was wonderful. Winter, I think, is my favorite character in the entire series. I don't know what it was about her that captivated me. I loved her in Summer's book when she and Summer ran into each other at the hospital, and we learned those little tidbits about her. And I was really excited when I read Summer's book to get to Winter, because I knew that she did have a book of her own coming, and that was exciting. But I didn't think that I was going to love it as much as I did. I don't relate to Winter. It was just very enjoyable for me. I loved Winter. I loved Theo. I loved, like, the familial aspects of it. It really, for me, leaned into what I love so much about the Chestnut Springs series and Elsie Silver's writing. So it was really nice to just get to watch all of that unfold, and they're not being like giant dramatics. Like, obviously things were going on, and there were things in Winter and Theo's book that were dramatic and were big things that were going to affect the characters going forward, but it felt, again, just very realistic, and like I was rooting for these characters. But at the same time, spoilers, spoiler alert if you haven't read it, when Rob serves Winter the paternity test summons to have to go take Vivi to do that, I felt like the entire book had kind of built up that Vivi is Theo's daughter. Like, everybody sees it. It's obvious. There's no way that she could be anybody but Theo's. So I felt content with that. Part of me was like, oh, well, maybe it is, maybe she's not Theo's, but it seemed really obvious to me, you know? Like, I had read, I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember which one it was, but one of the books in the Kids of the District series had, where, like, I think it was book 3, where she ended up pregnant, and it was obvious that it wasn't Bronson's baby, but, like, nobody cared. Obviously, like, that's his kid, regardless. But it wasn't, it was like, well, obviously this is somebody else's kid. Wasn't obvious like that in Reckless. So I didn't really have that fear that like, oh, the rug is going to be pulled out from under them and he's going to lose this whole family that he loves so much now. So the stakes didn't feel as high, but honestly, I wasn't reading them for high stakes. Maybe when it came to the bull riding or stuff more centered on the sport, then I was like, yeah, let's have some high stakes kind of situations. But the familial dynamics, I didn't really want high stakes. I just wanted to sit and be entertained and have pages and pages and pages of just domestic cuteness, you know? If I say you know one more time, good gracious. So those are my thoughts on Chestnut Springs so far. I can't wait until Hopeless is out. It's like a month and a half now, a month and 13 days or something. So I am counting down the days until that one's out because I need more. I'm also like, I really don't want this to be over. I don't want the series to be over yet because I love it so much, but I need the book. There were 2 chapters in the back of Reckless, and they were like, obviously before you release a book, it's subject to change, but I didn't even read them. I'm like, I don't want to start and get 2 chapters into this book and then have to wait a month and a half when I am so obsessed. Like I couldn't do it. I'm gonna start fresh from page 1 when Hopeless comes out and just be so excited to finally be reading it. And I can't wait. Especially for like Bo and Bailey. Those characters haven't been in the books nearly as much, and I'm so excited to meet them on their own as characters. So that is it for my August wrap up. I am so happy with my reading month, honestly. I can usually read more than 4 books in a month. Finishing Reckless put me at 185 for the year. So I was powering through a lot of like short audiobooks, but I feel really good with how much I read this month. 4 books, they were all 5 stars. And I mean, when you're reading because you love to read, having a bunch of 5 stars that's what I strive for. I don't know about anybody else, but I strive to have as many books that I just truly, really love. So I achieved that. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, leave the cowboy emoji or just comment yeehaw. And I will see you in the next video, which will be, I want to say it's going to be a reading vlog after, because this is going to go up after my TBR video. So yeah, we'll see, I guess, how I decide to put them all out. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!